Lindsay dropped right off the pace there, and I think that Lindsay actually managed to clatter the wall there, and there may be debris on track down at turn 2. Let's see what the marshals think of that, because Lindsay, well, he's got his pace back now, but that was a really scary moment.
Yeah, I just want to defend Phil Weaver there. He can't see a thing behind him and around him. He's relying on the eyes up in the stand.
Well, there is the yellow flag. The officials certainly do agree that there might be debris from this. Now, well, I tell you what, if Lindsay didn't put it on the wall, he got about as close as anyone ever can. Let's have another look.
Yeah, this is riding on board with Alex Lindsay. Here's the wall coming. Oh, pushed along the thin button. Just about made it.
You know, that had to be the narrowest Days of Thunder racing car that is out there on the track. Meanwhile, plenty of support for Ben Collins, race leader, as he goes for the restart.
We are green, 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 13 laps remaining, and Ben Collins has the advantage, but Roland Rayfelt will be delighted on the fact that he has managed to now pull back the leader, but Colin White under pressure for third.
Well, tremendous battling all the way up and down the order. Anthony Swan putting the pressure on Colin White for that third place. It looks like Swan's made that one stick. A little bit further behind, tremendous battle going on for 6th place with Michael Burgess and the number 2 car of Sean Richardson. And then, well, it's all 3 wide here ahead of that pack as well.
Ian McKellar Jr., what a move. He came from the back of Anthony Swan and puts himself up a position. He now will chase down Colin White, and the battle still rages for Sean Richardson.
Well, let's have a listen to Neil Hurl, the spotter for that car number 2. He'll be telling Sean exactly what is going on where he can't see.
Car low, stay high, car low, still there, car low, you're clear.
That's the words you want to hear when you're in the car. Oh, and Andy Smith and Andrew Kirkcaldy. Well, Andrew Kirkcaldy is on the lead lap, but the 79 and the 4 and the 5 of Rob Speaker, 1 lap down, they're embroiled in all sorts of battles of their own as well.
Well, you know what, this is the 7 car of Andrew Kirkcaldy's entire troubles. Went very quickly in this early stage of the stint. He's worn his tyres out for some reason faster than the other cars. He's slipping back. No problems here, though, at the head of the order. Ben Collins is still being hunted down by Roland Rayfelt. The question is, which of these 2 drivers has the most left in the car? Meanwhile, this fantastic 3-way scrap keeps going on and on.
I hope somebody's told Andrew Kirkcaldy not to worry about the 2 behind him, and he could just let them go and he'd still be in the right position. But this battle out front is terrific with Collins and Rayfelt. But here's Rob Speak going to the inside of, oh, it's all a bit tight down there. Oh, don't tighten it up too much, Rob. Side by side, brilliant stuff.
Well, you know, that 12th place there is worth fighting for. Don't forget, points and prize fund down to 16th place in Days of Thunder.
Massive $1 million prize fund these guys are fighting out for during the course of the 2003 season. 2 laps remaining. This is the shootout, and Colin White and Anthony Swan are locked horns.
Brilliant stuff here. This is the battle for 3rd place. Another battle going on ahead of them. Just 3 miles of the Rockingham Oval left to go. Anthony Swan gets his nose alongside Colin White, and just look at that number 2 car, Sean Richardson, once again on a brilliant charge, and it's going to be 3 wide into the start of the last lap.
4th, 5th and 6th places you're watching here. Oh, I hope everybody can find a bit of track to play on. Anthony Swan gets up the higher side, and they're 3 wide through 4.
Oh, poor old Anthony Swan, he's been bundled down to the tail end of that pack. White flag being shown, so 1 lap to go. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th places. Ahead of them, Collins and Rayfelt still fighting it out for the lead.
Michael Burgess came out of that brilliantly. Let's just ride on board with him. Here he goes to the inside of Anthony Swan. There on the inside of him is trouble. He's trying to keep to the high side of the wall. That will give him the momentum and hopefully carry him through turn 1, which it did. And they're still at it, these, as we go to the checkered flag. Ben Collins takes a fantastic victory ahead of Roland Rayfelt. Ian McKellar Jr. comes through for 3rd, and what a scrap for 4th place. How about that?
Well, Collins is extending his championship lead, but just look at the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Equal for 3rd, and Burgess just 3 points ahead of him. It can't get much closer.
Next came a second visit to Germany. Practice had only just started when previous Euro Speedway winner Ian McKellar Jr. was sidelined when this happened. Also back in the pits was Alex Lindsay after the low sun caught him out. McKellar's car would be repaired for the race, but Lindsay was not well enough to compete. At 1/5 distance, local hero Roland Rayfelt led from Ben Collins, with CWS teammates Colin White and Andy Smith 3rd and 4th. McKellar Jr. is already up to 7th, just behind Andrew Kirkcaldy and Mark Proctor.
You see the leader down in the bottom left-hand corner, Roland Rayfelt. We ride on board now with a man really on the charge. He started at the back of the grid. Ian McKellar Jr. in the 25, really flying.
Well, you know, that DSI AnyDoc team have done a fantastic job on this car. Just look at the way he's picking the cars off one by one. Just went down the inside of Mark Proctor there. He's back up onto the tail now of Andrew Kirkcaldy. Ahead of him, he's got Andy Smith and Colin White. They're battling in 3rd and 4th places. 5th, 6th, 7th places here. But look at the 25 car. He can choose where he can put it on the track. Everyone else is using the full width of the track, drifting out to the wall, car slithering and sliding on the edge of the Adhesion. And that car, the 25 car, just has that little bit extra. That just must be magic.
I think it's great from a driver's point of view, isn't it? You can see him, as you say, Steve, he's able to drop that half a car length down. He'll go to the inside of Andrew Kirkcaldy this time. It'll be the drag race down to turn 2, and when you put yourself on the inside there's only one place you're going, isn't there?
Inside. Now look at the car and the shadow underneath it. You can see the car's actually running with stagger on its suspension. That means the whole car is actually leaning inwards as it runs down the straight. He's probably actually putting right lock on to hold it straight, and that means when he comes to the left-hand turn, he's having to put less steering effort in. Again, you can see the ground clearance on one side's less than on the other. That's the trick of setting a car up for an oval.
And with the added factor of brakes needed here at Eurospeedway, and talking about brakes, not a great break for John Stewart. Look at the sticker rub down the side of that 75 car, but great scrap going on here between the teammates.
And Colin White really fighting hard to hold off Andy Smith there, but look at the back of the 78 car. There's something coming out of it, and that could be a problem for Colin White in that 3rd place. Andy Smith still there in 4th, and you know, Ian McKellar and Andrew Kirkcaldy are starting to close in the 5th and 6th place men.
Unbelievable stuff. There is Andy Smith. He'll get to the inside of Colin White. That's clearly unsettled Colin White, whatever the problem is. We'll try and get news on that from Sam in the pit lane, but double wide, they'll come down to turn 2. Andy Smith surely is going to go through here, Steve, and pick up the spot.
He's into 3rd place, and you know, the way Colin White's car's going, I'm wondering if he's losing some fluid. Meanwhile, into the pits, the 75 car of John Stewart, beautifully presented as always, but they have put a big scrape on the right-hand side, and that is how.
End of the day then for John Stewart. That's disappointing for him. We're getting into the pit stop window. They'll come in and change 2 tyres on lap 25 or 26. At the moment, there is Ian McKellar Jr. and Roland Rayfeld in for his first pit stop, and absolutely critical that he maintains that 80 clicks pit lane speed limit.
Yes, 80 kilometres an hour, 50 miles an hour is the speed limit in this very long pit lane, and it's very important that you time your pit stop very carefully here. Klaxons blaring in the grandstands because they are supporting Roland Rayfeld over the wall. Now watch the clock on the bottom of your screen. From the moment the 3 men go over the wall, we're timing the pit stop. This is with wheel nuts, and look at that brake dust coming from the inside of the wheels. That's how hard the cars work the brakes here. You hardly touch the brakes at Rockingham in comparison. And let's have another look here. Is this going to be a sub 25-second pit stop? There's the clock running on the 25 car as well. And that was a 19-second stop for Roland Rayfeld. Brilliant stuff. But this lap, a lap later, Ben Collins is heading pitward as Roland Rayfeld heads out onto track. This is going to be interesting how it shakes itself down. A green flag pit stop for everybody. And this really is now the battle of the pit crews.
Well, there is Mark Proctor leaving as well. He's had his stop. They'll pick up those errant wheel nuts. John Mickle goes out in the 24 car, but there is Michael Burgess having a real nightmare, Steve, this weekend, not really finding the groove, and he did need to do it, but now Ben Collins is in, the clock's running.
Well, let's have a look. We've got that 20 seconds to beat. It says be the best on the front of the car. Now, here's maybe the answer to Colin White's problem. See where that smoke or whatever it is coming from his car is in the pits. Well, there's no delay on the pit stops at the moment. The 78 car of Colin White there, still working a routine stop. 18.1 seconds for Ben Collins. That is a quicker pit stop than race leader Roland Rayfeld. And look at the smoke. Now, that is something leaking onto the exhaust manifolds of the car. You know, I think he's burst the power steering pump.
Yeah, we're getting news that it's power steering fluid that's the problem. There's an analysis of the pit stops. Look how close the pit stops were between the 84 and the 69, but that will help Ben Collins. He's sure to put him out in the lead. Andy Smith's also been, and that must be quite frantic for the CWF boys.
Well, you know, they pretty well come in simultaneously into the pits, and the same 2 guys were supposed to be doing the pit stops. I bet it was mayhem down there.
Here's what happened as well with the 78 and 79. You talked about it, Steve, the fact they came in together. Andy Smith nearly missed the pit lane altogether.
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Meanwhile, Michael Burgess, he broke that 80 kilometres an hour, 50 mile an hour speed limit in the pits. Oh, and so has Roland Rayfeld, race leader. Now that is a brave call in front of the German home crowd, but a pit lane run through means that he is going to drop down the order, and Ben Collins looks as if he might well have this victory in the bag.
Unbelievable stuff. Roland Rayfeld winning or leading winning this race, I should say, in front of his home crowd. Meantime, Ian McKellar Jr., while Rayfelt serves that pit stop, and look at that millimetre close action from McKellar Jr. and Colin White, but also Michael Verges, of course, chasing our race leader Ben Collins for the championship. That surely damaged Verges' hopes.
Well, Verges back down at the tail of the pack. He's going to just have to try and get some championship points. You know, this is throwing it very much into Ben Collins and Team TA's corner as far as championship points are concerned, but the man who's impressing me is Colin White. He is holding off the flying Ian McKellar Jr. in a car we think doesn't have any power steering. Now, you might think power steering is for wuzzes. Believe me, when you've got a ton and a half of racing car doing 180 miles an hour into these corners and big wide tyres all loaded up with the cornering force, that will be like the steering wheels being nailed to the dashboard.
Yeah, we heard Colin tell us about his pre-race warm-up down the local boozer. Well, hopefully he hasn't done too much of that. Certainly not before a race, he wouldn't anyway. But McKellar Jr. really seems to be much quicker in the corners, Steve, but it's on those straights. That's some serious grunt that's being developed from Colin White's engine, or some great use of aerodynamics. Meanwhile, the car pulling out to the low side. The right of our picture, there's John Mickle making a move on the 7 car of Andrew Kirkcaldy.
Well, Andrew Kirkcaldy there has John Mickle down the inside of him. Of course, the first ever Days of Thunder champion, John Mickle, won that title in 2001. Last year's champion, well, Nicola Minassian is off doing other things these days. Ben Collins, you know, he's never won a major title, despite winning loads and loads of races in different categories, including racing on the ovals in American single-seaters. But let's have another look at this. We were talking earlier about confidence in drivers in each other. Just look at this. Both the drivers at 180 miles an hour, don't forget. And they have a message here. It says, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing.
5 laps remaining. We're on lap 45. There is Mark Proctor. Oh, and out to the wall. And Andrew Kirkcaldy hits the wall coming out of turn 2. Michael Verges and Ollie Playle only just get through. And look at the bodywork hanging off Roland Rayfeld's car. Unfortunately, that hasn't detached itself yet.
Well, that really is all happening up and down the order. Mark Proctor running with Roland Rayfeld. Proctor must have had a very slow stop. And it's 3 wide there. Kevin Clark, well, don't forget, he's one of our rookies. He is learning fast. Rayfeld muscling his way through ahead of the order. Mark Proctor on a real fight back here as well. This is 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th positions all rolled into one.
This is very, very scary. Ollie Playle in that bright green and black car under pressure from Michael Verges. Verges will go double wide with him. Behind them, it's another pairing of Mark Proctor and Roland Rayfeld. They're not 2 guys you want to be messing with. And Kevin Clark could pick all the bits up here, Steve.
Well, you know, Roland Rayfeld, look closely at the right front fender of his car. He has got a problem. There's apparently been a blow on the exhaust of his car. He's been losing a little bit of horsepower as a result, but the heat is actually causing the bodywork to break up. I've never seen that before.
Just shows you how much of a heat build-up there really is in those engine bays of these Days of Thunder cars. Well, we saw Andrew Kirkcaldy rubbing the stickers off his car earlier on. Let's just check that out again. Here he comes out of turn 2. Really a hard hit.
Well, no problems for the livery on Ben Collins' car at the moment. It says B number 1 on the bonnet of the Team TA car, and he is out in front. Colin White still battling with the 78 car in 2nd place. The flying Ian McKellar Jr., well, maybe his feathers are being trimmed a bit now, because closing in is Anthony Swan, but the checkered flag is out for Ben Collins. Maximum points for the 5th time this season. Ben Collins is heading for the checkered flag and victory at Euro Speedway.
It's been an incredible run by Ben Collins. The team have produced a great car for him, but what a drive from Ian McKellar Jr. to finish 3rd from the back of the grid. There's the CWS crew. They're happy for Colin White, who picks up 2nd. So championship-wise, it's a 249-point lead that Ben Collins has over Colin White. Roland Rayfeld is 3rd, 29 points behind Colin, and Verges drops to 4th.
We had a problem on lap 4. We had lost all the power steering fluid, and I thought it caught fire and it was all coming in the car, the smoke, and they gave me a black flag, and I was like, oh no, this is the end of this job. And lucky enough we got it to the pit stop window, and then the smoke was coming out even worse. I pulled away and the flames went out, and I had to race the whole race with no power steering, so that was really hard on the arms.
With just 3 rounds to go, we're in for a thrilling climax to the season. Join us after the break.
Norwich Union Direct.
Sorry, it's a people carrier. 3 years, no claims. And I'd like you to quote me happy. Yes, did you hear that? It's great.
Let Norwich Union Direct Car Insurance put a smile on your face. Call 0800 828 829 and let us quote you happy.
Put a fruit spring in your step. Unsurpassed engineering, unparalleled technology, nothing else performs like it. Champion, Mach 3 Turbo Champion. It's the closest, most comfortable shave. Now with a red-hot new look. Test drive one today. Mach 3 Turbo Champion from Gillette, the best a man can get.
What's the difference? This one's faster. Call Screwfix Direct now on 08000 68 78 88 for your free catalogue. If you order tools and parts before 6 p.m, they aim to deliver the very next day. That's 08000 68 78 88. Call Screwfix Direct now. And if you spend £45 or more, delivery's completely free. Call now on 08000 68 78 88 for that real Screwfix difference.
Women love perfectly groomed men, but grooming certain areas can be sensitive and painful. Telebrands brings direct to you MicroTouch, which is designed to help with those problem areas. For precise grooming that gets close yet is safe to the touch. The sleek design gives you great control so you can keep the back of your neck barbershop perfect by yourself. Trim unsightly ear hair with just a touch. Embarrassing nose hair gone like that. Sideburns straight and even. Moustache and beards neat and clean. Got bushy eyebrows? Just snap on the guide and groom them neatly in seconds. Look at the difference. MicroTouch grooms from head to toe and anywhere in between. Shoulders, arms, chest or back. Powerful enough for the tough stuff, yet gentle even on the most sensitive skin. The secret of our precision MicroTouch system is that it cuts hair but doesn't cut skin. It's swift, neat and yet is safe to the touch. The Snap-on guide lets you control just how much hair is trimmed. Trim a little, a lot, or trim off as much as possible and show off that hard body. What a great way for women to keep the man in their life perfectly groomed. Or for mums who want to keep their kids looking neat and clean between haircuts. MicroTouch can give you and the whole family a quick trim with micro precision. A £30 value for only £14.99. That's an amazing £15 saving against the recommended retail price. MicroTouch, the safe, precise solution for everyday grooming. When you call, you'll also get our 10-piece precision grooming kit. It includes a host of grooming tools that will always make you look your best. A £30 value, yours absolutely free. You get it all, the MicroTouch Precision Groomer and this beautiful 10-piece grooming kit for only £14.99 plus post and packing. That's right, a £60 value for just £14.99. Call 0870 005 6501. That's 0870 005 6501.
This your Sunday evening lineup on Motors TV. At 8:30 p.m. it's the FIA Thoroughbred Grand Prix 2003 RDA from Estoril. At 9 p.m. WEC preview. 9:30 p.m. a World Superbike 2003 season review. After that, World Superbike 2004 season preview. And then at 11 p.m. Australian Sprint Car rounds 8 to 9 from the Avalon Raceway.
Round 11 saw Colin White establish an early lead, but the smoke pouring from his front left wheel indicates he still has broken power steering. A quicker pit stop put John Mickle and the 24 car into the lead ahead of White as they rejoin the track. And as we join the race, it's a battle for third in the pit lane.
Now then, at the moment, Colin White and John Mickle, second and first respectively, as we see McKellar Jr. on the left. Ben Collins will have to drop in behind him. Remember, they must run at 80 kilometres per hour. That'll be about 2,800 revs in second gear, but here comes Mickle and White.
And they're doing 280 kilometres an hour. This is going to be awesome stuff. They're heading round on the banking, of course, through turn one. You can hear them lift off the gas there. It's not as steeply banked as Rockingham. It's a tighter set of corners, the tri-oval, 3 corners. And there they are coming out of the pit lane. You don't get it better than this. It's the 2 Torque Speed cars at the head of each queue, but it's John Mickle's car in the faster moving queue.
But I'll tell you what, Steve, Colin White looks mighty fit and really fast in that 78 car in set place at the moment. I just wonder whether John Mickle will be able to hold him off. He'll keep those racing lines. Colin White will try and duck down below the spoiler of John Mickle's 24 DSI Anydoc Chevy. And can the Chevrolet of CWS backed Colin White make it to the outside? He's going to go the long way around, but that should give him a better run onto the start-finish straight.
That's meant he's carried a little bit more speed. He's there in the slipstream. Now, John Mickle's car is making a hole in the air for Colin White's car, and that is the advantage that he gets. Just a couple of miles an hour more, but he gets his nose alongside. John Mickle can't use the full width of the track, and that is a copybook overtaking manoeuvre on a tight oval like this. Colin White now back in the race lead. John Mickle's still there in second place, and this is, I reckon, going to go all the way to the wire. Let's just take another look, though, at that overtaking manoeuvre. It was a classic.
Here he is, pulling out to the inside of John Mickle, gets alongside him. Mickle gets the call that there's a car inside, gives him the room.
That's 32 out of the 50-lap race at Eurospeedway Lausitz, this amazing facility in the former East Germany, east of Berlin. This is the battle for 9th place, and at the moment it is Kevin Clark has got the legs of Ollie Plail on the left of our screens, and the veteran John Stewart there in the 75 car against the youngest driver in the pack, the teenager Ollie Plail.
It's a combined age of about 67, I think, between the two of them. Ollie Plail, the 18-year-old, I'll leave you to figure out how old that makes John Stewart, but this is a terrific scrap. It's the Reebok Chevy of Ollie Plail versus John Stewart's green machine, but here's the battle. Andy Smith, incidentally, the car down on the low side, is a back marker now after troubles for him in the first part of the race. Ben Collins gets it around the outside of him, but they're still there, third and fourth, McKellar and Collins.
Well, that's McKellar and Collins. Meanwhile, at the head of the pack, it's still Colin White from John Mickle. Then it's Ian McKellar Jr. And that is Ollie Plail, who has been in the wall. And that will have been a 170 miles an hour brush with the wall. He's moved the axle across the car. You can see the car is crabbing to a standstill down on the backside of the circuit. He's heading across onto the road course, I think. And the yellow flags are out because there is debris on the track. It is always a very, very long walk home when you've crashed a race car, and Ollie Plail will be beside himself with angst.
He couldn't be further away, actually. They're all the way out at turn 2. Poor old Ollie's got a long walk back. Restart on lap 39. They've cleared up the debris from Ollie Plail. It's a single file restart. There is Andy Mack with the greens, and oh my word, everybody's all over the track.
Oh, and that's a big squeeze. Ben Collins on Roland Rayfeld there. Rayfeld forced right down onto the white line, and don't forget that's where the pit wall is. There's concrete on both sides of the drivers there. You do not want to be moving across the track.
Well, not surprisingly, we're already hearing that ASCAR officials, the Data Thunder officials, are looking at that again, calling for re-looks at that. So we'll let them sort that out at the moment. Roland Rayfeld, though, up into 4th place. He's got Anthony Swan behind him there in 5th. Oh, there's jiggery pokery going on for that 4th place, and Ben Collins 3 wide behind him.
Well, that's Kevin Clark and Mark Proctor, and Michael Burgess there sliding a little bit wide and coming off the gas. Let's have a look at this restart again, though. Did anyone anticipate the green flag? You know, Roland Rayfeld might have just got on the gas before the green flag was waved. Ben Collins certainly there moved across to defend his position, and that was a bit more than the usual move you're allowed to make at the start of the race. But just look at this now, battle for 3rd place. It's Ian McKellar Jr. on the right side of the track. Oh, and contact there between Ian McKellar Jr. and Anthony Swan in the Lego Racers car. Roland Rayfeld's the man taking advantage of that to move ahead.
Roland Rayfeld says, Danke schön, I'll move on straight through there, and he has done exactly that. But what on earth was going on with Swanee and McKellar Jr.? Ben Collins into the pits. He's got a restart infringement penalty. Good work by him, though, Steve. Got to the pits really quickly there.
Well, that was a good call from his spotters and his pit crew, but it is going to mean that Ben Collins, for this move, I think, let's have a look here. This is the second of these moves. Now, just look at that. Ian McKellar Jr. contact there on the back of Anthony Swan as he defended his position. Let's have a look at it here at 170 miles an hour.
I don't know, I wonder if Anthony Swan just got into the back of McKellar Jr. there. Meantime, it's all happening here.
Well, this really is a bit of a blow for Ben Collins. Let's have another look at that restart. And there's Roland Rayfeld moves down. Now watch Collins. He's been told Rayfeld's coming down his inside. Don't forget, you don't have much rear visibility in this car. And this was a big, big chop. Looking at it from Anthony Swan, there goes the Ben Collins car. Leaves the track nice and open for Anthony Swan, I've got to say. Now, Michael Burgess, he's further back in the pack. Just watch this going on. There's Rayfelt. Whoa, that was a big move by Ben Collins. No wonder the stewards have given him a drive-through penalty. But that really drops him to the back of the pack. He's only just on the lead lap. He's about to get lapped, in fact. And he has to stay on the lead lap in case there's a yellow flag. And just look at Rayfelt and McKellar are still at it. Hammer and tongs for that third place. It's Colin White, John Mickle, Roland Rayfelt. That's not Dankeschön, that's out for either.
I think you might be right, but I'll tell you what, Ian McKellar Jr. is doing a brilliant job there to stay out of the back end of Roland Rayfelt. Now, talking about Roland Rayfelt, this is the moment we freeze it there to see where everybody is in their position, and Rayfelt has been adjudged by the officials, the Days of Thunder officials, to have just momentarily jumped the start. Collins was brought in for that lap infringement that we saw. He served a penalty, and Rayfelt is in for his now.
Oh, I tell you what, there'll be tears at bedtime here, because this is the home hero, the local Berliner. Phil Weaver in the 77 car, keeping out of everyone's way. He's got a sick engine. He is running still because he can get championship points and prize money here. Don't forget, it covers his costs for going all the way to Germany. Meanwhile, look at this. Ian McKellar Jr., fastest man on the track at the moment, moves up into second place ahead of John Mickle, and we're riding with Anthony Swan in that car 44. He is closing in on Mickle now and is going to be shooting for the Hooters car for third place.
Well, unbelievable stuff there. I think John Mickle might have just lost some momentum there as his teammate went by him, and that's allowed Anthony Swan. We heard him earlier in the programme saying he was fearful that he just hadn't got enough grub, but you know what these drivers like, they all want more power, Steve, more power.
Well, let's see whether he's got more power. He's right up on the tail of Mickle now, and that car does not seem to be lacking horsepower down the straight. He's 1 mile an hour faster maybe than Mickle, but 1 mile an hour is enough, because if he gets his nose alongside now, he'll have the advantage. He'll be able to take the line, and there you go. You're clear, his spotter says to him, and he can use the full width of the track.
And he makes that move through to third place, and Anthony Swan is on target at the moment. Remember, his best result this year was in the previous race here at Eurospeedway, where he got a fourth. He's at the moment holding that third position. It's a question now of whether Mickle can get back to him. Well, out front, Colin White continues to lead. Ian McKellar Jr., though, is marginally closing that gap just ever so slightly in that battle for lead.
Well, let's take another look at that move by Anthony Swan. You can see how low the drivers are in the cars as well there, and particularly Anthony Swan sits very low in that car, but there was that straight line speed that Swan's been saying that car, the 44 Lego Racers car, has been lacking. It's not lacking it now. Right up on the tail of Ian McKellar Jr. for second place. Is Anthony Swan going to be getting for place higher up still on the podium?
Not if Colin White has anything to do about it. He's only got one corner to go now. Meanwhile, remind you that this is going to throw the championship wide open, because Colin White is on the lead lap, but Roland Rayfelt and Ben Collins, the championship leader, down a lap down, and there is the checkered flag, and McKellar Jr. just holds on for second ahead of Anthony Swan. And what a drive by Colin White. Absolutely cracking stuff.
And you know, this race is still on as well, because this is the battle almost a whole lap down between Roland Rayfelt and Ben Collins. It's the Berliner that is heading for the checkered flag ahead of the man who leads the championship. And those stop-go penalties have meant they're going to be battling right the last two cars across the line. Well, the drivers head back from Germany with Ben Collins 191 points ahead of Colin White, and Michael Burgess recovering to third ahead of Roland Rayfelt. And round 11 produced quite a few thrills, especially on that lap 39 restart. It caused more than a few eyebrows to be raised. Both Ben Collins and Roland Rayfelt were given drive-through penalties for being naughty boys.
There was there's people obviously moving around.
Sorry, don't disturb your image as a fair driver, okay? It's really fine to drive with you, but the last cross and the restart was not fine, okay? It's not even my opinion, that's also
Watch out, man.
Proctor and so on. Okay? Congratulations.
Anyway, talk us through it.
Yeah, well, that guy and a few others jumped the restarts, so that made it quite difficult in the second sort of, so from the start there's people moving around on that, jumping the starts, which the organisers didn't do anything about, and they chose to slap a penalty on me in the second start, to which I don't really understand why I got it. So I had to do a drive-through, so I went from being fourth to last, I think it was.
He has to be a bit more concerned about that, what could happen if he does it again, because next time I have no space. You have seen he pulls me to the wall, and that's not the right way. So it was just caused that he was pulling over it, and it's not the right way. Normally he should accepted it when there's somebody faster, make a faster restart. I accepted it that he overtakes me last time, so he should do that. He should do that also.
Round 12, and we're back at Rockingham.
as the Texaco 200 takes the green flag at Rockingham. John Stewart taking a tight line further down the order, but at the head of the field it's Ben Collins inside Roland Rayfeld, and those two are pulling away from the big battle between Derek Hayes and Ian McKellar Jr. in third and fourth.
Unbelievable stuff, third and fourth place. Steve, you called it there. Ian McKellar Jr. trying to get to the outside of Derek Hayes. They're double wide as they go through turn 2. Michael Verges behind him in the maroon car's a grandstand seat.
Well, he's got a grandstand seat. John Mickle's working hard behind Verges as well. He is up now into that position as 25 car again plays the McDonald's car of Derek Hayes, but it's Hayes holds on to that third place ahead of McKellar, Verges and Mickle.
Unbelievable stuff from Ian McKellar Jr. there. Derek Hayes though did an equally impressive job holding off the Challengers Junior, or Bex as he's affectionately known in the garages for obvious reasons when you see his hairstyles.
Well, yes, a very stylish driver is Ian McKellar Jr., but now he's really got to focus in on not only closing in on Derek Hayes, he's going to have to defend, because he's got Michael Verges and John Mickle there. The last two cars in that group closing in on the 25 car at the moment. And don't forget, it was Verges in that red and black car and John Mickle who fought for the first ever Days of Thunder title back in 2001. Mickle won.
Yeah, Mickle came off the best that year. Between them on the track, let's see how they get on. But before we do that, let's ride with Michael Verges at the start. The green flag waves from on top of the gantry. Look to the outside there. That's Ian McKellar Jr. on the outside of us. In front of us in the red car is Derek Hayes, and those two side by side as they thunder down to turn 2.
Well, Roland Rayfeld, interesting there, he actually gave away that second place or that race lead quite easily to Ben Collins. These two, you know, they went a whole opening lap on cold tyres, don't forget, at close to 150 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Michael Verges plays John Mickle yet again. This is the battle for fifth, and Mickle has again now a little bit more grip. And we saw Verges early on in the race putting big armfuls of lock to turn the car in down the camber.
He did indeed, but there he goes to the inside this time, coming out of turn 4. They're going to be side by side as they head across the line this time. Mickle surely will go through and take up that position. He does so, he completes the manoeuvre, and Verges now will have to try and re-garner his defences.
Well, look at this, Ben Collins forging his way through the back markers there. Sadly, Fires Bittamora's car misfiring very badly on the inside there. And look at Roland Rayfeld. What a move that was by Rayfeld. Now, can he make it stick through turn 1? Ben Collins carrying the speed on that outside line, but that was a great opportunist move by the Germans, really keeping Ben Collins on his toes.
300th of a second, Steve, between the leader Ben Collins and Roland Rayfeld. Let's just take a look at that again. We're riding on board with Rayfeld. Here's the problem. Sean Richardson, the back marker in front of him. He goes to the inside. Collins has gone to the outside. They head into turn 1, side by side. But what about Collins on the outside?
Well, you know, Ben Collins there just kept his cool. And they keep saying it's about being number 1, Team TA. And he's certainly doing that. Meanwhile, Ian McKellar Jr. And look at this. Ian McKellar Jr. now with John Mickle right on his tail. They've both managing to start to pull a bit of airspace between themselves and the slightly less well-handling car of Michael Verges. And don't forget, these two, the DSI Any.Doc cars, are the two teammates.
I'm sure we saw a bit of smoke there. Yes, there is the smoke coming from the back of that 24 car. The right-hand outside tyre, Steve, looks like problems for Mickle.
Well, that is what is known as cutting a tyre. Now, don't forget, Ollie Playoff bounced off the wall earlier on. There you can see the smoke. Michael Verges backing off a little bit there. He thought there was going to be a spinning car in front of him, I think. And John Mickle is heading for the pits. Now, that is such a disappointment. Well, this is the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th places, still being headed by Colin White. Lap 29 though, that is the opening of the 2-lap pit window. In other words, the cars will be heading into the pit lane this time around. Ben Collins still the race leader from Roland Rayfeld, but they'll be into that pit lane to change the 2 outside tyres. And don't forget, these aren't Formula 1 cars, these have got conventional wheel nuts. Now, let's see what happens here. This is a big gaggle heading for pit lane. Oh! And Colin White's decided to stay out there. I think he realised he was going to get clouted up the rear. And just look at that side by side in the pit lane. I've never seen that before.
Andy Smith, well, to be fair to him, there wasn't a lot of room there. They came thundering towards pit lane. The reason why they're all trying to get the cars woed up, as they say in America, as he collects a bollard that's smoking away there, is that they have to hit the pit lane speed.
Well, there is Ben Collins. Now, he's come in effectively a lap later. There's Roland Rayfeld. His car giving a bit of a wiggle as well. Ben Collins very determined to find his way past the back marker, Tony King, there to keep his speed up. He's running at exactly the pit lane speed limit. Now, the sad news is the 79 car of Andy Smith. He clobbered that deformable barrier hard, and I think he's wrecked his front suspension.
Yeah, I would go along with that. We've got the clocks running here. The 69 car of Roland Rayfeld, the 84 car of Ben Collins. This is the battle to be first out of pit lane. Andrew Kirkcaldy has already left. Anthony Swan is into the pit lane as well. But who's going to be first out of these two? Will it be Rayfeld? Will it be Collins? Who's your money on?
You know, my money's will be on a different car altogether, because the Torque Speed team are awesome in the pits, and Ian McKellar Jr., I reckon, is going to be one of the fastest men out of that pit lane. But it's Ben Collins, a full 3 seconds quicker there. And watch this, this was really determined stuff by Ben Collins. This helped his pit stop as well, managing to run right on that pit lane speed limit, muscled his way past Tony King. But there is the bad news for the 79 car. Andy Smith is out of the race.
Andy Smith, a great addition to Days of Thunder in 2003, but we're hearing about problems for the McDonald's car, the 68 of Derek Hayes.
Can you hear me, Derek? Can you hear me?
And those problems are associated with his radio. Let's listen into the team radio again.
He has no way of communicating. He won't know who's where or what.
Well, after that caution flag for the pit lane incident, here we have the green flag again. We go racing on lap 40. It's Ben Collins from Roland Rayfeld. Derek Hayes still attacking there, but without that radio to tell him what's going on around him, he's going to get a black flag, I am sure.
Hear me, Derek? Can you hear me? Come in.
Well, they're still desperately trying to make contact with him, but at the moment he is concentrating, I think, on holding on to that 4th place, but with no communications. That really is a major safety issue.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the deployment of the black flag, Steve, because the Days of Thunder Fish, there it is, the black flag. That black flag means that you must report to pit lane immediately. It's displayed along with a pit board which has a number on it, and that number on that black flag board is 68.
Well, sad news for Derek Hayes. He was running so strongly there in that 4th place in the McDonald's racing car. This is the battle for 6th place. 3 wide. Now that is awesome stuff. And Colin White is the man who loses out on that. He's now trying to hold on to 7th position from the number 7 car of Andrew Kirkcaldy. But poor old Derek Hayes, you know, I reckon they're coming in for cotton buds to clean his ears out.
Something like that, I would think. Poor old Derek. He's a great addition. Another one who's been fantastic in the series this year. But we're on lap 49 in this 12th round, the penultimate round of the championship. This is the battle of 2nd place, but a reminder that Ben Collins down front as through on the inside goes Ian McKellar Jr. He'll pick up that 2nd place from Roland Rayfeld, and that's going to have an impact on the championship. But if Collins stays where he is now, he's going to win the title.
Well, Colin White really could do with getting out in the head of that big battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th places at the moment, but it's going to help his points total. There we can see Michael Verges, don't forget, another potential point scorer, as Stevie Hodgson is heading for pit lane as well. Let's have a look at that. That was a superbly judged overtaking manoeuvre from the 4th turn of the corner, and Ian McKellar Jr. now starting to run away. I'm just wondering if Ian McKellar Jr. can actually get on terms and close in on race leader Ben Collins.
Well, I suppose the question is whether he's got the time. Remember, we've got 9 laps to go. That's all we have. The 84 car at the moment looks to be running on rails, and I agree that Ian McKellar Jr. is making great progress, but whether he's got enough time. Oh, we got a yellow flag. That's going to close the field up.
Well, yellow flags out for debris on the track, and that has negated the lead Ben Collins has pulled out. Now this is interesting. 2 laps to go on the restart. A dash for the cash, a sprint to the line, and it's Ben Collins extending his advantage over Ian McKellar Jr. and still there in 3rd place. It's Roland Rayfeld, and don't forget the man he's battling in the championship with for 2nd place. Michael Verges is right on his back bumper. This is awesome.
Unbelievable stuff. Is Ben Collins on his way to his 2003 Days of Thunder title? Well, if he finishes where he is, that's exactly what's going to happen. But what about the places 2nd, 3rd and 4th? That features Roland Rayfeld and Michael Verges, the 2 guys in 3rd and 4th at the moment.
Well, that really is tremendous. Michael Verges does need to get ahead of Rayfeld to cement potentially that position. Don't forget Colin White still there in 6th position, and in fact we'll be looking at 5th place now. It's Colin White and Rob Speake battling for 5th and 6th, just out of our view. But Ben Collins, if he can hold on for just 1 more lap, he is going to be crowned the 2003 Days of Thunder champion with 1 race remaining in the series. And Ben Collins, it says number 1, be the best on the bonnet of that car. He is determined to be the best.
He wants to win the Texaco 200, but in so doing he will clinch the Days of Thunder 2003 title. let's give a shout out to Ian McKellar Jr. as Ben Collins, who's had no mechanical problems, he's had no incidents, he starts his final lap on the way to the title.
Yes, the white flag being waved off the start gantry, the sign to the drivers, just 1.5 miles of Rockingham Motor Speedway still to run, and Ben Collins averaging here 151 mile an hour average lap. He set a new lap record earlier in the race, 152.55. This is a real champion's race. He has won it from the front, and he is heading not only to his 6th victory of the year, he is heading to the Days of Thunder title.
Over 31,000 are on their feet to see Ben Collins cross the line and take the championship, not only for himself, for the Territorial Army and for RML.
It's been a brilliant year. I've really enjoyed it, and today's been, you know, it's all the hard work the boys have been doing all season to make a brilliant car. It's just the car's unbeatable at the moment, so it's just really fun to drive it.
Collins is crowned, but Colin White, Roland Rayfeld and Michael Verges, it doesn't get much closer than that, does it? And one race to go. As the speeds build, just listen to the howl of those V8 engines. 12,500 horsepower is unleashed across the start line, and it's Ben Collins in the race lead. Ian McKellar Jr. gets squeezed wide, tucks in. It's side by side for second place though. The Dutchman on the left of our screens in the 96 car, that is Michael Verges, and Roland Rayfeld in the black and orange 69 goes down the inside. Colin White, who is Verges' championship rival, and trading a paint there down into turn 3. That really is on the limit driving there by Roland Rayfeld and Michael Verges. Colin White takes advantage to take a look, as does the former Formula 1 stock car champion Rob Speak in the number 5 car. Oh, and Rayfeld tucked right underneath Michael Verges' wing for that 3rd place, but across the line at the head of the order it's Ben Collins, Ian McKellar Jr. then 4 wide into turn 1, and it's Rayfeld gets shuffled to the back of the pack. Colin White makes up a place, and now it's all down to Michael Verges and Rob Speak. They are in pursuit. Oh, and a spinner, that is a blown engine. Oil on the track down at turn 3, the fastest part of the Rockingham circuit at 170 miles an hour, and it's claimed a victim. That is Mark Proctor with a seriously wrecked 12 car, a spinning John Mickle down there in the number 24, and there is Andrew Kirkcaldy also stationary. Well, Ollie Player walking away, yellow flags being waved, debris all over the track down there. John Mickle is heading back to pit lane, but he's left a bit of water from a burst radiator. So let's have another look at that. Well, there you can see, oh, Nicholas Leven in the 42 car, heavily damaged down there. There's also the number 6 car there. That is Stevie Hodgson. His return to the championship has been very short-lived. His car looks heavily damaged. Let's see what happened again here. Now, don't forget, we saw, a wall of death by John Mickle over Stevie Hodgson's car. That was pretty dramatic. Now we're riding with Mark Proctor in the blue number 12 car. Oh, there you see, big wiggle on, bang, into the wall. Well, make a note in your diaries, those are the dates for next year's Days of Thunder Racing Series. But I tell you what, that was a heavy hit for Mark Proctor. Now we go racing again on lap 14 of the final Days of Thunder race at Rockingham, and it's Ben Collins from Ian McKellar Jr. Look at the battle for 3rd and 4th places though. It's Michael Verges up into that 3rd place in the 96 car, but then it's anybody's race. Number 5 car of Rob Speak, the 69 of Roland Rayfeld, and the 76 of Colin White. Don't forget, Verges, Rayfeld and White could all still get that 2nd place in the championship. The gold and black car there at the tail end of that group, that is a very, very impressive start indeed for Peter Folding, number 33. He newly crowned Formula 1 short oval stock car champion, getting a special ride here this weekend. But it's Ben Collins now with Ian McKellar Jr. going every inch of the way with him. Collins may well be the champion. McKellar, though, desperately wants to win this race. Oh, and that looks like broken suspension for 79 Andy Smith. Big disappointment for him. Meanwhile, just look at this. Ben Collins, a new lap record, 34.475 seconds. That's 154 miles an hour, 248 kilometers an hour, the fastest ever Days of Thunder lap at Rockingham. Well, he said he was going to drive the wheels off that car, so he is. But just look at this too. This is the battle into the closing stages for 2nd place. Ian McKellar Jr. has Rob Speak right under his rear wing, and McKellar Jr. is having to up his pace in the closing stages of this race. Absolutely stunning. Just 4 laps to go. Can Ian McKellar Jr. hold on to that second place, or will Rob Speake be moving up the podium? Colin White still looking good in 4th position. That's going to be second in the championship for him, but he's got Michael Vergers right behind him. There is Anthony Swan, Roland Rayfeld and Derek Hayes, all still locked together in that battle for 6th, 7th and 8th places. But at the head of the field, it's Ben Collins pulling away. He said he was going to win from the front. It's a true champions race for the man from Team TA at the moment. But Roland Rayfeld, the race isn't over with him. He makes a move on Anthony Swan. Meanwhile, Michael Vergers closing in, challenging Colin White. Now keep your cool, Colin. You just need to stay on track. Oh, and that is on the limit, driving by Anthony Swan. His tyres, I think, have gone away. Derek Hayes trying to find his way past him now. And meanwhile, there at the bottom of our screens is Stevie Hodgson, still running, still limping. He's going to be out there for the checkered flag. But Colin White, Michael Vergers, their battle continues on. They're coming up to lap Tony King. Lap 49 of a 50-lap Texaco 200 race. So this is going to be the run to the checkered flag, the white flag being shown to signify the last lap of the race. Michael Vergers in that 5th place at the moment really needs to get ahead to get 3rd place in the championship. Don't forget, the rest of the field working their way through the back markers, but already it's Ben Collins through the final turn of the 2003 season, takes the checkered flag and victory, his 6th victory of the season. Great battle for 2nd and 3rd places across the line, Ian McKellar and Rob Speake, and it's everybody's race across the line in the places. Fireworks at Rockingham, a superb finale as the sun sets on the 2003 season, and the 2003 champion under gunfire, the Team TA car of Ben Collins.
Unbelievable. And we've got donuts going on. Phil Weaver's down there, so too I think one of look like Stevie Hodgson. There is Phil Weaver, there's Stevie Hodgson getting in amongst it as well. Everybody's celebrating.
And I tell you what, there are 31,000 people standing in the grandstands yelling themselves hoarse, and just look at that. That is what you call showboating. Ben Collins flying blind in the 6 times race winning number 84 car.
Hey, good donuts those as well. We see people struggle to get those. There's Derek Hayes joining in, he'll lay down some good doughies as well.
Well, let's go through the whole of the Roll of Honour of Days of Thunder 2003. Ben Collins and Colin White, of course, 1 and 2 in the championship. Michael Vergers taking 3rd just by 1 point from Roland Rayfeld. Ian McKellar Jr. a good run to 5th ahead of Anthony Swan and Mark Proctor. Phil Weaver 8th, Sean Richardson 9th, and Ollie Pale completing the top 10 and top rookie ahead of the veteran John Stewart. John Mickle gets 12th, Andrew Kirkcaldy 13th. Kevin Clark, Rob Speake, Alessandro Lindsay getting 16th position just ahead of Andy Smith, the stock car race. Well, Stevie Hodgson, resilient as ever, gets 18th in the championship ahead of Tony King, Derek Hayes, Nicolas Leven, Chris Cook, with Kieran Dines and Earl Goddard completing the top 24. Well, it only took a couple of races for Peter Faulding and Firo's Villamoria to get their championship points ahead of Max Papis and the NASCAR race, Steve Grissom.
Well, that's the lot for this year, but what about next year?
Well, here is the calendar for 2004, and it's quite a simple equation. The first Sunday in every month from May to October is Days of Thunder Sunday, and I hope you're going to be with us for those.
Well, our congratulations go to Ben Collins. He is the Days of Thunder 2003 champion. Of that, there is no doubt. We've enjoyed bringing you Days of Thunder during the course of 2003, and we hope we'll join myself, Steve Slater and Helen Chamberlain for more during the course of 2004.